Hello and welcome to the replay. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are watching this on replay, go ahead and do me a favor and do that hashtag replay so we know who's here live and who's here on the replay. And don't be afraid to ask questions even if you are watching the replay. I want to take a moment to welcome those of you who are joining me live today for this masterclass. Today I'm going to be teaching you my own personal strategy for creating content, and not just creating content, but taking one idea and multiplying it while creating new pieces of content from one content piece and repurposing everything I have to fill my content calendar. I'm going to give you a little preview here. This right here is a picture of my content calendar last month, and this is only the stuff that ran through my Repurpose account. I'm kind of a big fan of repurposing content, and I'm a big fan of creating content upon the content that I've created. I wanted to kind of step on my soapbox a little bit and explain to you the importance of creating content, but also the importance of understanding the idea of focusing on one content type and then multiplying from there. In other words, don't feel like you have to be original every single time on every single social network. So I'm going to step on my soapbox for a second, and then I'm going to introduce myself so that you really get a taste of who Kelly Noble Mirabella is. So my soapbox basically is this. I've been in digital marketing for 14 years. Social media has been, and content marketing has been my specialty for those 14 years. Up until about 4 years ago, I really dove into the world of messenger bots. So a lot of you might know me as kind of the chat bot lady, but I do have a very deep knowledge of social networking. I've had people call me the social media as encyclopedia, which I always thought was kind of funny. So I really have the strong belief that it is not good for our mental health to be constantly trying to recreate new content every single day that's individualized for every single social network. I see with the newer and newer social networks popping up, and also the stories, right? Stories are everywhere. We just got them. They're called what? Flits, something like that on Twitter. We have TikToks. We have Instagram stories. We have Facebook stories. I think LinkedIn has stories now, and YouTube is getting stories. And the thing is these are 24-hour cycles. It is constantly dragging us into this idea that in order to be top of mind and to beat the algorithm, we always have to be creating, which is not good for our personal mental health and stress levels, right? You are likely not the Gary Vaynerchuk. You probably don't have an agency full of people that are creating content for you. Am I right? You guys can tell me in the comments below. So one of the things I really strive to do when I teach people how to repurpose content is to understand the limits and understand that, give yourself a little grace and understanding you don't have to create the wheel for every single social network. You certainly don't have to be posting every single day to every single social network, no matter what that social network makes you, kind of pushes you to do. I use stories as a really big example of this because stories do have this affinity to keep you in keep you on top of mind, that little circle. And if you're not posting, you're not in that little circle, you're not top of mind, you're not on top of the feed, and you get lost. But do you get lost? Do you always have to be there? I would argue that you don't have to be there every day. And quantity over quality, I think, is something I strive for. So with that in mind, my name is Kelly Noble Mirabella, and I've been a digital marketer for 14 years. I've owned my company, Stellar Media Marketing, for the past 10 and a half years, and I am a one-woman show. While I do employ freelancers and subcontractors on occasion, most, if not all, the content that you see is created by me. So when I gave you a little sneak peek of that calendar, that's all me, baby. That's all me. So I want to share with you my own personal formula on where I get my ideas for my content, how I take one content idea and turn it into multiple content pieces, and how I repurpose those content pieces. So there's kind of a twofold situation here. We have content that's repurposed and maybe turned into something fresh and new that could stand alone. And then we also have this idea of virility and promotion to our original content pieces. So I'm going to show you both. And I hope that you will enjoy this and you will find comfort in knowing that you don't have to do it all, but certainly there is a formula that can help you do a lot of it. So I'm going to open up my little notes here. Oh, good. I do have people in here. Great. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, if you are obviously you're in a Facebook group watching this and you want to comment, please do ask questions, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll make sure to, highlight your questions as we go along and make sure that you opt in because I am using Ecamm to live broadcast. So you certainly don't have to opt in. It just won't show your name when you comment. Now, you might notice I also have show notes. I hope that they showed up in the description. It was a last minute change and Facebook's been a little weird with live broadcasts. Otherwise, if you got my notification in the messenger bot, you should have received my notes. Now, if you're new to me, then this is kind of a little explanation. I am a big fan of digital notes and I always give my notes away. These notes are very much an outline. It's just to help keep me on task, but I found over the years of doing live broadcasting that people tend to love to be on the same outline as me. So there is a whole outline for you. I've linked to all the tools that I've used as we go through today's masterclass so that you can easily find what you need to duplicate what it is that I'm doing. Thank you. Yes, the soapbox is the translation yes, for the sass box. Isn't that true? Anyone who knows me knows this. Now, if you are new to me, I am a little sassy and I do love to give tough love, but that's because there's a lot of should I say snake oil salesmen out there, and I just want to break it to you honestly because there needs to be more authenticity and honesty out there. So that's why I had to do the little soapbox. A little bit more about me. I run 2 YouTube channels. One is much more established, Baby Got Bot. A lot of people that maybe are showing up in the chat that know who I am, they definitely know me as kind of this chat marketing person. I am the trainer for ManyChat's free course. I do obviously my own sort of courses. I have this YouTube channel that's been really successful in this small niche. If you search ManyChat on YouTube, you're gonna find my videos. And so a lot of what I create is around my YouTube videos. I also just recently created a new channel called Baby Got Content where I play more with this sort of stuff. And actually I want to do a video about my process, kind of like the short version of what I'm going to teach you today on where I find and how I create my videos and then some. So I'm a big believer in video. I've been gung-ho on video for a long time. If you were to take my live video confidence challenge I think it was last month, we did a 5-day free live video confidence challenge. I kind of gave a little sneak peek on how I was, or the behind the scenes, I guess, of how I was back in 2008 or 2009 when I started vlogging online and how different it was. It was horrible. It was terrifying. I don't think I was very good, but we all judge ourselves harshly. And now it just feels like a natural thing to look directly in a camera, which trust me, took a lot of practice. So I am a huge fan of video. I got into live video broadcasting back in the day of Hangouts. I've actually been a live broadcaster since probably 2011, 2012 when Google came out with Hangouts. And I was a Meerkat user, Periscope user. I was one of the very first people to adopt Facebook Live. I had a course out in 2016, shortly after it was released. That was my specialty for a long time. And then I transitioned into really specializing in messenger bots. But I always like to come back around and teach these other facets of digital marketing because I do believe that content marketing overall is kind of the savior of small businesses and large businesses alike. As they say, what is it? Content is king? Yeah, there you go. So yes, you should be there. You are on the screen. Thank you. Thank you so much, Doug, for letting me know. The show notes are there. You guys can follow along. So, you might be wondering, well, where do we start? Where do we start when we're creating content? Well, before we start, I want to first thank our sponsor today, InVideo. InVideo is kind enough to sponsor my masterclass today here in their group. So applause to them. Everyone use the little, is there an applause? I don't think there's an applause reaction, but perhaps like a thumbs up reaction for them or some hearts. I would love to know, are you an InVideo user? Let me know down in the comments below. I personally do use InVideo. If you watch my YouTube videos, at the very end, the video transition that comes up, like the, hey, go check out this video, those are all created in InVideo. And a lot of the stories I create on my Instagram account, which we'll talk about in a little bit, are created in InVideo. So I am obviously in-video user, and you should be too. There's a link in my show notes for that as well. So where do we start when we are creating content? Or more specifically, when I'm creating content, I can tell you where I start. So obviously video is incredibly vital. And I'm going to tell you the importance of video, especially video that you have your face in. Hello, this is my face. When you can be on screen, you are building an immense amount of trust with people, and you are establishing yourself as an expert. And the more you do it, the better you will get. That I can promise you. I've been doing video for a long time, as I mentioned. And I think that, you know, it's important to tell you the benefits before we really dive in so that you can buy in, right? You need to buy into this idea of video being so important. And I'm going to tell you, I made a lot of money last year. I actually was told by someone recently that Europeans especially don't talk about money and Americans talk about money. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's that nobody talks about the thing that's really important to a business, and that's your bottom line. And so I have no fear of talking about money, and I can tell you that I made quite a bit of money, and opportunities opened up to me so largely last year in the year before, as soon as I started dedicating myself to consistently producing video for my YouTube channel. The opportunities started to roll in. I was getting paid speaking gigs to travel around the world. I was getting paid speaking gigs, chosen over CEOs of companies because of my YouTube content. I was able to do the ManyChat course because of my YouTube channel content. I've had a lot of really great opportunities. I've made a lot of money, and I've made a name for myself because of consistently creating content, right? So it's important that you understand this idea that video is important. And whether you're creating video for your YouTube channel or you're using something like InVideo to create video content, it is a key to success because there's a lot of noise out there. And I think it's important that we talk about that before I show you how to make some noise, right? There is a lot of noise. How do we cut through that noise? And that, going back to my soapbox talk, and if you missed the soapbox, you'll want to rewind at the end and listen to that beginning part. That is why we focus on quality, because there is a lot of nonsensical noise out there. And if we can create quality content and multiply upon that singular content piece, then we will win in this whole thing, right? Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, InVideo is great. We'll talk about them a little bit more. Chuck says he loves InVideo. Same here. There you go. Oh, Doug, you got it, but you haven't used it yet. And George says he loves Chuck. So it's a love fest in the comments. Let's go ahead and talk about where I get my ideas for. Thank you, by the way, for all the hearts. I really appreciate that. I recognize that you are hitting those hearts, and I love it. It's a love fest up in here. So where do I get my ideas for my videos? Let's talk about my Baby Got Bot group. Although Baby Got Content, same thing. When I'm coming up with a concept for a video, I want to create videos that people want to watch. We want to create content that people want to consume, right? Otherwise, it's just noise. So where do we come up with these ideas? One of the first places I go are Facebook groups. Now, I do admittedly have two of my own Facebook groups, Baby Got Bot, which is dedicated to messenger marketers, and I have Baby Got Content, which is more for content marketers. And I definitely go in there and I see what kind of things people are commenting on and asking questions. But even apart from my own groups, you don't have to have your own group to do this. I go into other groups. I go into the social media managers group. I go into social media societies group. I like to do a lot of kind of like behind the scenes, you know, I'm like in the shadows. I'm just checking things out. I want to see what people are making comments about. I think a big mistake that people make with Facebook groups that are in like own their own business is they'll go into a Facebook group with the idea that I'm going to go solve problems and like pitch. I'm going to get clients, right? You think about that? And I see it more of like, let me go in, let me explore where the questions are, where are people struggling? Is something coming up? Is there like a trend that's coming up? And I'm writing that down. I'm keeping track of that. And then of course I'm going to answer questions. And then I can come back to those people who have those questions and I can respond to them. Hey, I've got an answer for you. Guess what? Created a content piece, right? So I find Facebook groups to be immensely helpful when it comes to creating content. The other thing is this really cool site called, this is a little graphic from this website. It's called Answer the Public. And I have a link in the show notes. Obviously, you can go grab those. And this is a little graphic. Let me make it big. I'll cover my face here. The mask of Answer the Public. And you can kind of see what I did is I looked up the word content marketing. And you could see here, it said, whoop, that's really small. It says, what, where, how, can, I can't read that one there, when, who, will, why, and are. These are the questions that people, let's go over here. These are the questions that people are asking on the internet. This is what people want to know. So if you're looking for questions to answer, and content should be answering questions, the best content answers questions, then this site right here is amazing. It is free. It's called Answer the Public. The link is inside of my show notes, so you can grab that. And I do use that on occasion. Now, I personally am a more fan of the Facebook groups. I spend a lot of time online. It's the nature of the beast, right? Being a digital marketer for 14 years, you become a little addicted. But I do spend a lot of time on there. But Answer the Public is great if I'm ever stuck and I just want to explore some content ideas. Ask your audience. Ask your audience. If you do have the benefit of having your own Facebook group, go in there and poll them. I often will come up with different ideas and I'll just poll people. What's the next video you want me to make? What's the next? And I do that before I even build courses. I'll go in there and ask people, hey, is this something you're interested in? You know, I'll just ask a question. What's the number one thing you need me to help you with? Or more specific things, like maybe if I want to do a tutorial on how to use ManyChat with a CRM, I'll ask people, what's the CRM, the customer service management tool that you're using? And I'll poll people, or I'll just have an open-ended question just to get those ideas. You know, I want to hear how I can help people, because when I can help more people and answer more questions, my content is going to resonate with my audience and they're more likely to consume it fully as well as share it, which is big, right? We definitely want that. Melody here had a comment. I want to share. Answer the Public is great, but you're limited to the number of uses. I think is 3 per 24-hour period. Select your terms wisely. Yeah, you can get a pro account. Like I said, I personally don't use it a ton unless I have like a specific thing I want to look up. So it definitely is limited if you're going to be on the free. Quora is another place that you might explore. Lots of questions on Quora if you want to spend some time on there. It's also a good place just to answer questions. I sometimes will go in there when I have free time. I don't have a lot of that, and I'll answer questions. I also love predictive search. If you just go on YouTube and start searching, it's going to show you predictive search. I will often do predictive search on on YouTube and on Google, and I will do it incognito mode. So it's very much what is the general public searching for, and not so much dedicated to what I would want to see. But with that, I do use this really cool tool. If you are using, there it is, TubeBuddy. If you are using YouTube, if that's your content place, like if this is the place where you want to produce most of your content, which it is for me, I use this great tool called TubeBuddy. You can see here I searched the term how to create more content in less time, and it came up really good. This is actually, I don't know, there's a lot of search results, 40 million. That's pretty competitive actually, so I might play with that result a little bit and not necessarily use this one. But TubeBuddy has been a pivotal tool for me for researching. If I have an idea, maybe I've done all these other things. I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do, what this is about, but how am I going to present it on YouTube? I use that tool TubeBuddy, and I love it. It really helps to rank higher. And then keep track. Now, I don't know how old school you are. Some of you might be like me and be like, a notebook person. These are my notes for today. In fact, the notes you're seeing right now, these are the same notes, except the ones you're looking at have links. So you are so lucky, and you can probably read that better than my handwriting. So you can certainly jot those down. Maybe you have a dedicated notebook. My personal favorite is Trello. I love Trello. This is my Trello board for my YouTube ideas. You can see over here on the left, I have all my ideas and topics. I have a hot list. You see my ideas and topics, the list got really long. And so I ended up making a hot list. These are things that I want to definitely focus on. These are 100% ideas I need to start doing. And then I script them, I record them, I edit them, I schedule them, I post them, and if I have series, I'll put that in here. And then I have a little place where I keep my keyword research ongoing. So I love Trello. It's a great place for me just to keep track of my ideas. I'm a really visual person, but I also tend to be really cluttery. So for me to have like Post-it notes is not a good plan. Like my OCD husband would die if I started using Post-it notes because they would be everywhere. My desk is already a mess. So Trello is definitely my go-to. Yeah, Charmaine says, Trello is such a great help for me. I use it to plan everything. Like when I'm planning my courses, I plan my content. It's a great to-do list. I use it as a to-do list. So that board that you saw, I'll put it up there one more time. Love me some Trello. Isn't that the truth, Chuck? Love me some Trello too. But this is where I keep my ideas. And you can see I keep them going. Like, you know, you don't have to be out searching for ideas. If the idea presents themselves, you might not have time to explore it just yet. Throw it on the Trello board. Throw it on a Google. Does that say, okay, a good old notepad. Okay, I thought it said for a second, it said GodPad. And we're like, what did I write? I'm looking at my notes. Dyslexia. I actually have dyslexia, so I can say that. But you could use a spreadsheet, use a Google Sheet, whatever works for you. The key here is to always be compiling ideas. If you have people emailing your company or messaging your business page asking the same question, if that question comes up more than twice, you got yourself a content piece. So remember, the content pieces that answer a question, that give an answer to a question, those will resonate the most. They will perform the best. So once I have my ideas, I pick one of those ideas and I'm ready, right? So what's next? Do I just turn on the camera and start shooting? No, I script everything. I actually am a big fan of scripting for a lot of reasons, mostly because it's really easy to take a script and turn it into a blog. Like really easy, especially the way I write. I write my script the way I would talk on the camera. I'm very conversational. If you've ever read one of my blogs, you know this. It sounds like I'm talking to you. Like if you hear my voice in your head when you read my blog, there's a reason for that. So I script and storyboard everything. So for instance, I'm going to be doing a YouTube video on this very topic that we are talking about. I'm going to be giving my process. So I will start scripting it. And I like to go like I'm going to start going a little overboard with my storyboarding. It could be as simple as, here's what I want to say. It could be bullet points, but I actually write it all out. I use a teleprompter. I oftentimes will just write the script as if it is like I'm writing a play and I'm gonna like, you know, I said like way too many times. This is why I have to script it. I don't have to say unnecessary words like all the time. But I also want a storyboard so that maybe my video is more creative. I don't always do this because I don't always have time or it doesn't always call for it. But if it's a video like the one I'm going to be building for this topic, content marketing, how to create content, what's my workflow, then I'm going to storyboard that. And what I mean by storyboard is thinking about the scenes I want to shoot. Do I want everything to be here with this backdrop and I'm just talking to the camera? Most of my videos are like that. Or do I want to, you know, there's a Shopify video. It's one of my favorite videos that I did where I started and I'm in the car and I'm like, yeah, everyone likes to go shopping, but pandemic, so where are we shopping? And then I'm in my hammock and I'm on my phone, shopping on my phone in this next shot. And then I'm at my desk and I'm showing you how. So I like to storyboard that. I want to visualize what this is going to look like for you. And that makes it easier for you as a content creator. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of work. And the first piece of content you create is going to be the most work because the better that piece of content is, the better the repurposing and the sub-content will be that you're going to be able to pull out of that. So I spend quite a bit of time planning my videos, which is why I only do one video a week. This particular week, I actually did 2 videos because I'm doing a series. So sometimes you could do more if you're doing a series. And that's all part of the planning process as well, right? So storyboarding and scripting. I do script. Charmaine, you want to know what teleprompter? I don't even know what teleprompter I have. I'd have to look it up. I bought it on Amazon last year. So what's next? What do I do next? Well, then I create the video. I have my script. Sometimes I use the teleprompter. Sometimes I don't. I will tell you in post-editing, teleprompter saves the world. But you do have to remember to bring extra energy because you don't want to come off monotone, which I see a lot of people who use teleprompters come off monotone and, hey, I'm reading a script and what is this saying? You know, you don't want to do that. You still want to be animated and and really expressive, because you don't want people to get bored. The other tip I'll give you really quick, I know this is more about the content piece creation itself and not so much repurposing, but if you are doing YouTube videos, and actually any kind of video, you should have some kind of transition, movement, change of angle, something that just changes the eyes. Every 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, you want some kind of transition. So you might notice in my videos, I'll have the video will cut or pan a different direction, or I'll have like a little animation pop up, or maybe I'll cut into some B-roll. So just thinking about that every 15 seconds. It seems like that would be odd, like that's a lot, but when you watch it through, it's actually not. It's actually a lot more time than you would expect. I'd also love to have you make a video on how you add extras to your YouTube videos. Yeah, that's all post editing. I might do that on the Baby Got Content channel. A lot of people have been asking me to do those sort of tutorials. So why not, right? If that's what you're asking, that's the whole point of this, right? Yes, that was kind of a bonus tip, every 15 to 20 seconds, just something. It doesn't have to be a change of scene entirely. It's just, you know, maybe have a little transition that comes in with like what do you call a lower third, or a little graphic, or, you know, just it would go like cut from this angle to like I'm closer up. So stuff like that I really try to bring in just to change the eye, because your brain will then reset so that you're less likely to get bored. There's actually a whole psychology about it. It's wild. All right, so now we're going to create the video. Like I mentioned, my core piece. The idea here is we're going to create one core piece. This is our main jumping off content piece. Now, if you're not a video person, you can start with a blog and write out this phenomenal blog. I just happen to be a video person, so this is where I do it. And this is repurpose your content with video, right? So that's the whole point of this thing. Yes, jump cuts is what I was talking about with the thing. Don't go too crazy with the jump cuts. Some people really hate them. So you have to go a little light, you know, mix it up. So I do videos so that you guys know, if you have never seen one of my videos, I do videos on Baby Got Bought, which is, they're all instructional style videos. I always try to have a talking head. I like to connect with my audience. Talking heads means my face is on video for the first part at least, and then I jump into on screen. Sometimes it's just all talking head depending on the topic. I do Baby Got Bought is my messenger bot videos, and the Baby Got Content is my content marketing videos on YouTube. I create my video, I shoot it, and then I post it to YouTube, because this is where I've decided I'm going to put my content. It might not be for you. Maybe you want to dedicate to YouTube, to LinkedIn, or maybe your spot is going to be Facebook. You're just going to dedicate. The point is, dedicate yourself to really go all in on a network and in a content style piece. For me, it's video on YouTube, because that is the best way to serve my audience. So then what I do is I transcribe. Sometimes I don't transcribe. I will say, if I wrote a script that's good enough that I don't need to transcribe it, I won't. But if I didn't write a script, sometimes I'll just get on camera and just do my thing. Or if I want to add the transcription or captions, what have you, on the sub captions on my videos, which sometimes I do. I do get those requests quite often. I will go to rev.com and I will transcribe my videos. Now you have basically two choices here. You could do the regular transcription. Let me just pull Rev up here really quick. So it's just a screenshot really quick of Rev. You can see the pricing over here. $1.25 for regular transcription, captions $1.25. If you buy captions, you get transcription. So you get both, which is nice. They also have this thing called Rough Draft. Now, Rough Draft is AI. It does not work if you are doing like a live broadcast, or if it's hard to decipher between voices. If you have background music, it's not good. But if it's just you doing like a talking head and there's no music in the background, it's just you, and it's clear and you can hear your voice, it actually works really well. And that's 25 cents. Can you do other languages? You can. It costs more. Let's see if we can pull that back up and see how much. It's a lot more. Foreign subtitles is $3 to $7 per minute, depending on the subtitles. So I don't know if there's another solution that's less expensive, maybe in your in a country where the language is that language, but Rev is what I use. And I find it's very helpful. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you get a transcription, you also get timestamps. So you can actually quickly scan through and you can pull out content. And we're going to get to that in a moment. So hold tight for that. I would love to know from you, are you using rev.com currently for your videos? Or if you do something like that, like a transcription or captions, what company are you using? Like, let's share that, right? Share it in the comments. So the next thing I do is I'm going to create a blog. I think blog content is fantastic. It's really great for your search engine optimization. I actually post my blog in 2 places. I will post it on Medium. I just love the look of Medium. I love the platform. I know that people will argue that you should be putting stuff on your own website, which is why I also post it on my own blog, but I get a lot more traction on Medium. So here's how I look at it. If I want it for SEO on my website, I put it on my website. If I want people to actually read my content, I put it on Medium. So I actually put it on both places. And I love Medium. So I will actually either take the transcript or my script, and I actually send this part to my VA. Like I mentioned, am dyslexic. I hate writing. I am a speaker. I will get on video and I will talk your face off, as you can see. I will do podcasts, like no problem, talk all day long. In fact, when I script, a lot of times I will use the microphone. I'll use Google Docs. I don't know if you knew you could do this, but there's a microphone. I think it's under, let's see if I can find it really quick. It might be tools. Yep. So if you go into like Google Docs and you create a document and you go under tools, there's voice typing, and I actually speak to Google and it will type it types my whole thing for me. So it's lovely. So I actually send this to a VA that specializes in repurposing blogs, and she writes my blogs, and then I'll just scan them, maybe add some screenshots and just make sure it's exactly how I want it. But she saves me a lot of time. I probably save her a lot of time too, because I script everything. So sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes if I spent a lot of time on something, I'll just do it myself. For instance, I wrote a blog, I should put it in my show notes, on this very topic. And I wrote that whole thing. It took me days to write. That was kind of the, you know how I said you have to have kind of this content piece that's your main piece. In this case, it was that blog. There's a question from Ben. Facebook live videos can still be repurposed though, right? Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't put this in the show notes, but I often will do Facebook Live as my signature piece. We'll call those the signature pieces, the main piece that we're going to filter down from. It doesn't have to be YouTube videos. That's what I really want to stress. It could be whatever it is that you specialize in. My business coaches, Andrew and Pete, are really big believers in the 90-10 rule. 90% of your energy should be focused on how to serve your client best and in what platform, so that you shouldn't be distracted by all the squirrels. And so I chose YouTube videos to serve my audience best, because I felt that was the thing. So I went gung-ho. So that's where my signature content pieces go. If for you it's Facebook Live or LinkedIn video, or maybe it's blogs, that's great. The idea is you have a signature piece and then branch off from there. Great question, Ben. Thank you so much. That is gold. I'm so glad. And then yes, Rev, their AI is about 80% accurate. Yeah, 25 cents. Why not? And especially if you're going to send it to a VA to do it, like, I take care of this. This is somewhat accurate, So I do have a VA that does the blog for me. And like I said, I put that on Medium. I put it on my blog, on my website. Maybe if you're like really gung-ho into like LinkedIn, they have LinkedIn blogs. You could post them there as well. It really depends on where your main point is. The point is, guess what? You just created another content piece. And that content piece can also be repurposed. If you all hold on for 1 second, I have children knocking on my door. Yes? Okay, great. I'm in the middle of a class. Thank you. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they know when I'm live, they have to come in and ask questions, right? That's how it is, mom life. All right, so let's go on. What next? So if you have this transcript, as I mentioned, I was going to catch up to this. I love the time stamping, because what you can do is easily pull out these tidbits. So if you're following along in notes, here's what I want you to be pulling out of your transcript. You need to be pulling out tweetables. Are you on Twitter? You should be. So pull out those little tweetables, those things that you can use that are like little quotes, little tidbits, little statistics that you can pull out, and we can use those on Twitter. Those 140 character bite-sized information pieces that you can also send people to your signature piece from there. And then a sub-content idea. Sub-content ideas are things that could stand alone. I have several videos that I've done this for. So if I do a video on, I don't know, how to create content, like if I do this video that we're talking about today, I could do a whole sub-content piece on 5 ways to get ideas for your video. And here's 3 things that you can do with a transcript. You know, like these are sub-content. These can be standalone content pieces, like mini content pieces that I could pull and they can stand alone. In lieu of, say, comparative to a promo or highlight piece, something that would be used to like entice people to go back to the signature piece. Do you see the difference? So we can actually use our transcript or our script to pull out these different pieces. So if you have statistics, content, highlights, quotables, anything like that, we want to pull those out. And then we want to use various tools to create different types of content with those things we've pulled out. So I use something called Canva. You don't have to use Canva. If you use Stencil's also a great tool. I'm not tied to, I mean, I love Canva because I've been using it since Canva was Canva, so it's easy for me. But if you have a tool you prefer, it's fine. Visual content is key here. So what you want to do is create content for Facebook, for your Instagram, for stories, you know, these sort of things that are just static visuals. And again, taking quotes, highlights, statistics, sub-content, and splattering that around. So create all this content off of your one content piece. And then we go to additional video. And this is where in video really shines, right? So you can do stories. I recently did a story. Unfortunately, it's already expired, but I could certainly pull it up and maybe link to it to my in video. But I did a story to help promote my YouTube video. So I went into in video and I took a clip of my YouTube video and then a picture of me going like this, and it was just me pointing at the actual plane. The only thing that was moving was my actual clip, and it was story size that I created in video, and that was really easy to create. I just, you know, repurposed, boom, and that was what we would call probably like a highlight story, which would get people to go. It's like kind of promoting my signature piece. So use in video to create your stories. Use them to do explainer videos with that sub content, that standalone content. Like I said, if I were using these notes to create an entire giant signature piece, my sub content could be 5 ways to get ideas for your next video, right? And so then I could create in video an explainer video doing 5 ways to create content within video, right? And 4 things to do with your transcript after your video is done, or, you know, 3 ways to pre-promote and 2 ways to post-promote your video. I just gave you like 4 different video ideas, all that you can create really easily in video. And here's what my in video looks like here. It just gives you just kind of a quick view. At the top you see pre-made templates. They make it really easy. You can use these and customize them to your brand colors. In the middle is the text to video tab. This is just an image, just so you guys know. I'm working on an old Mac and it's been funky lately, so I decided to do screenshots instead of taking you to the actual website, so I apologize for that. But the text to video is huge. If you look at my show notes, it says blog to video. That's it. You're going to bring in your blog or bring in like a couple of key points, and it's going to transform it into video, which is awesome. And then you could do blank templates if you want to kind of start from scratch. So you could create stories. You could create square videos that you can use on Instagram. You can create videos that you can then put on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest and like all these places. And it can be standalone sub content like we talked about. It can be highlight promo content to send people to your signature piece. It could be additional explainer content where you're just kind of pulling little things out that kind of does both, right? It does the job of both. It could stand alone, but also, hey, if you want additional tips, go check out my video, right? So the in video is fantastic for that. I do use it quite often for that. So now what? Now you've created all this content. You have your signature piece out. It's running. It's good. Everything's great. You've got all these things you've pulled out, but you don't want to manually do all that, right? Like what? No, you don't have time for that. You know what you have time for? Creating more signature pieces to keep multiplying on this idea. So we want to use scheduling tools to do it. Now I use a tool called Repurpose. Again, you could use whatever you want. I've been a digital marketer for 14 years. I have used just about every tool under the sun. And I'm gonna tell you, Repurpose is my favorite by far. I showed you earlier my crazy, this is last month's calendar. I think this is it right here. That's last month's calendar on Repurpose. You can see all the different postings that went out. Now, if you want to check out Repurpose and schedule everything yourself and just try it, maybe you just want to give it a try. I do have 2 months free you can snag. If you go to the show notes, you just go to, you'll see it, agorapulse.com/Kelly. Just 2 months free. No questions asked. Give it a try. It's awesome. I love Repurpose, and I schedule out all this stuff. So I have my videos and my images, and they're scattered out across different times for Twitter and for Facebook pages in my Facebook group, and I have my LinkedIn page and my LinkedIn profile scheduled, and I have my Facebook I don't think you could do Facebook profile, but that's okay, you don't really need it. And then there's something else I do, I'm missing it, Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts, so I'm scheduling everything out, and they have this really great way that you can actually reschedule. So you could say, well, like for Twitter, I'll do this. I'll say every 10 days, post this for the next, 3 months. Every 10 days, post this for the next 3 months, or what have you. Now you can set that up. So then now you've repurposed that content piece. It's going out multiple times. The other thing I use is this tool called Missing Letter. Let me see if I can pull that one up here as well. This is a snapshot of my missing letter. This is another, you don't have to have, but certainly it can create more things for you. And the thing I love about Missing Letter, and unfortunately I don't have any kind of special for you on Missing Letter. It's not something that I don't have an affiliate with them, but it is a tool I use. You can see I have these ones over here on the right are completed. And in the middle, those are the active campaigns. And then over here in my drafts, these are campaigns that I have to go in and set up. And basically the way it works is the blog. It all comes from that blog. The blog then becomes this magical thing, and it comes into Missing Letter, and Missing Letter will then help me create. They will pull, those tidbits we were talking about pulling out, they will pull it out. They will use AI to pull out those things, and then it'll create like little images and quotables, and I could schedule them out. I only use this for Twitter myself, but I can connect it to Facebook as well. But I prefer Repurpose for the Facebook, but it creates variations of the content to help promote my blog over the course of 6 months, a year, depending on how I want to set that up. I could say for just the next 30 days, like push it hard, right? So I could do that. Now, I didn't put it in here in the notes, but someone brought up this idea of Facebook Live. I think it was maybe Ben had brought up Facebook Live. Something else I definitely do, I have a weekly show that I do, a Facebook Live show. And it's called Baby Got Chat every Thursday. And I actually do use these ideas, and I kind of cross-pollinate. I will repurpose the idea and do a Facebook Live. I will repurpose the ideas, and it's almost like testing the content. If the content is resonating with my audience, I'll turn it into a webinar or a lead magnet. I've often turned things into lead magnets that then I could turn into a mini course. I've done I think I have a mini course on repurposing your content. I could be wrong, but I know I have a mini course on how to do Facebook Live. So there's so many variations of this. Here's the quick and dirty breakdown. You are going to create a signature piece once a week. And then you are either you or a VA or an assistant, you're going to train this system where they are going to transcript, grab tweetables, grab post ideas, grab standalone subcontract, and then multiply it across variations like images, like stories, like videos, explainer videos, and then you're going to use something like Repurpose or whatever scheduling tool you want, and you are going to schedule it out so that every week you are scheduling out, so it's not, every post back to back is the same content. It's every post is different content, but you're still reposting. Do you see what I'm saying? like boom, then your calendar is gonna look like this and you're gonna be like ninja level, right? You will always have stuff going out. And it's all because you have a signature piece. And that's why I'm so in on video, not to mention all the other benefits we talked about, and the algorithms love video. And you could take it even a step further, and instead of just creating, obviously create all the things we talked about, but just jump on your phone and create a quick video on your stories, on any of your stories. Say, hey, I just did this video. Here's why you need to go watch it. Go check out the link in my bio or whatever. It's just boom. It's just these little things. And if you have this formula in front of you, it's like a checklist. Boom, done, 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 done. And now I'm filling my content. And after about a month of doing this, or 2 months, you have so much content over the next 6 months because, again, you're using Agorapulse, right? You're rescheduling it so it goes out every 30 days, every 15 days, whatever that is for each social network. So there you go. That is it. That's my formula. You know the secret. I spilled the beans. I hope this was helpful to you. There are links to every single tool that I use inside of my notes. Check them out. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. The best place to reach out to me on this particular topic is either here in the comments, just tag me, or you can join my Baby Got Content group. Just search Baby Got Content in Facebook. That group is dedicated to stuff like this, like content piece stuff. And then you can also check out my Baby Got Content YouTube channel for how I do it. And you kind of follow the breadcrumbs, if you will, and see how I'm sharing that across all these platforms. I'm going to tell you something else that I do. Now, this is kind of extra, but I also do TikToks. And TikToks I do quite differently. I will take the idea, but instead of pulling it from my signature, I will just create TikToks that I can then lead into my signature. Or sometimes I just create them to have fun. So sometimes your content is just fun. But going back to where we started, this idea of the soapbox, right? If you weren't here, you're going to want to go back and listen. Don't feel like you have to be creating something new every single day. Just schedule some time once a week to dedicate to creating a signature piece, subcontract the rest out, and focus on your business. Focus on creating the best answers. Don't ruin your mental health. Don't stress yourself out because you don't have to be at the top of that freaking circle every single day with those stories, especially when you can create sub-content within video, with Canva, with these other tools that directs to that. That's going to just make your life so much easier. And it's all based off a signature piece that is quality, so that when you do stand out in the newsfeed, it's for the right reasons and not for the wrong, noisy, annoying reasons, right? So I hope that this was helpful to you. Let me know what you think down in the comments. You can get links to all the specials I had. If you are new to InVideo, you haven't used it yet, definitely check out InVideo, and let me know if you have any questions on anything. I want to thank you again for joining me today. As you know, I have 2 little kids and they are biting at my ankles to be done with all of you and to go give them time. So I'm going to go do that because I've already scheduled out all my content for today. My videos are done. So you go create your signature content and then come and let me know how it goes. Y'all have a wonderful day and I will check y'all later. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.